This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada here. Here we are, April 8th. And you know what? This year marks the 35th anniversary of Back to School, where Rodney Dangerfield got some major respect at the box office that year. I think it was number 6 of the year. And I have interviewed a few people from this movie, and I've got one of them on. Actually, I was lucky I didn't catch her like Rodney did, because Rodney caught her right out of the shower.
And here I am.
And here she is, clad in her towel, the beautiful, the lovely Leslie Scarborough. How do you do, Leslie?
Hi, good to be here. I'm doing great.
Oh, it's
I'm
wonderful to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm still co-ed number one somewhere deep in my heart.
And you didn't know there's 4 hours difference between us, huh?
Absolutely not. I thought the end of the line was 3 hours Eastern Standard Time. So I was a little confused when you said that there's something beyond.
Oh yeah, we're 1 hour ahead of Toronto, 1 hour ahead of New York. Um, a lot of people do not know that there's one of
No,
us.
it's like borrowed time out there. You guys are like off on in an area we didn't even know exists. I mean, I knew it existed, but I thought it was all on the same time zone. So yeah, you get your own little time zone out there.
Yep. So it's like afternoon where you are. It's early evening here where we are here, and yeah. But I was quite surprised you knew who the Trailer Park Boys were.
I dated a guy that was really into them. Every night we had to watch the Trailer Park. I'm like, what is this? And then I got into it and I thought it was pretty funny. That's how I knew. I didn't really find it on my own.
Did you ever see any of their movies?
No, but I know they had one. I was
They had
broken up by
three.
that time and I kind of, and they're
Yep.
all probably pretty funny, right?
Oh yeah. Well, Ivan Reitman produced the first one.
Oh, wow.
Hmm. So you have three Trailer Park Boys movies, and then they had done SwearNet, the movie. Now SwearNet, they basically play themselves, and it beat out The Wolf of Wall Street with the most f bombs
Oh,
in
wow.
a movie, 935.
Yeah, that's not hard to believe.
Yeah. So very funny movie, and I did get somebody on here from SwearNet this year to talk about it out of Toronto. So
Do you have a beep thing, or are people allowed to swear on here?
oh no, they oh, on my show, oh, people can swear on here. I don't care.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? If I ever got the Trailer Park Boys on, I'd be foolish to
You
have a
let 'em
beeper.
rip.
I just let them go. I don't judge people. But here is one of the funniest comedies I've ever seen, Back to School.
And
Love this movie.
did you tell me it's the 35th anniversary? Like, is it this spring? Because
Yep.
1986, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think it was released in June or July, I think. June, I
I
think.
think you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember going to the theater and watching it for the
Yep.
first time and being like, oh my gosh, I'm so big up there.
Well,
And
I've had a few people on from this movie. I've had Adrian Barbeau on here. I've
okay.
had Bill Kinnison came on in tribute to Sam Kinnison,
Mhm.
and Johnny Hernandez from Oinko Boinko, the drummer. He's
Oh,
been on
wow.
here.
Cool.
Yeah. So you're my fourth, and I've been in touch with Bubbles herself, Becky LeBeau.
Well, okay. I have something here. It's to celebrate the it's a little mini champagne to celebrate the anniversary, and because Bubbles, was the other.
I don't have any alcohol.
This is the problem about not being a studio. Can't
Yeah.
exactly hand this through the screen to you,
There we go.
but here I
Occasion.
go. That's
Here
a
we go. A toast to 35 years of Back to School,
yeah,
and to Rodney Dangerfield and Sam
definitely,
Kennison.
exactly.
Yeah.
and even to Bubbles, because
To bubbles. Yes. Because what's a bath without bubbles?
I have not. I don't know if this has happened to her, but I've gotten mixed up with her. People always ask me, "Were you Bubbles?" And if it comes up, I was in Back to School. Then they think
Hmm.
I was Bubbles. Or I wonder if people ask her, "Were you the girl in the shower?" Because uh, we're both blonde and
Beautiful.
well, thank you. I know she looks great. She's still
You
kicking.
look great.
Oh, I'm still kicking butt too. But thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
she's still kicking butt, and so here's to you, Becky, and to Rodney, and to you, and to Back to School.
Absolutely. Yes.
I wish the kids.
Sometimes I have wine, but I don't have any here, because I heard red wine's good for your heart. I heard that.
I heard that too.
Hmm.
I heard that too. I can't even believe I don't know. I was going, what am I gonna wear? What am I gonna wear? And I'm like, okay, publicity stunt. I'm going with it. I'm
Going with
gonna
the towel. I thought I just caught you out of the shower, but
that's
I
the
think it's
point.
cool. I think it's cool that you're going for this. So I think that's awesome. But Back to
That's
School was a wonderful comedy. But before we get into Back to School, I want to hear a little bit of your backstory and how you got into acting and modeling.
oh well, okay. That's pretty simple.
Hmm.
Um, when you're a kid and you have that desire, you have that you're watching I Dream of Jeannie or Lost in Space or all those shows, and or Cinderella with Leslie Ann Warren, who had the same name even though she spelled it differently, and you're just like, I want to do that. And I would watch Superman, and I would literally like pick up my feet, like, and I would carry myself around like I was Lois Lane, like I was Superman rescuing Lois Lane. So I would act out all these things when I was 6, like just a little kid. And there was a show called, oh boy, I'm really taking myself back with this one, some secret agent show with Connie, not Connie Francis, or is her name Connie Francis? A blonde lady was a secret agent, and I don't know what it was, but I would dress up on Sunday mornings when my family was sleeping. I'd get up early and I'd wear a trench coat and I'd take a toy gun and I'd wander around the neighborhood playing secret agent, but I don't remember what her name was. It's a classic thing. And
You're a bit of a tomboy.
I was, that's funny though, but I was dressed up as like, with the sunglasses, I was dressed up like a woman, blonde secret agent lady. Connie Francis. Who is Connie Francis? Maybe it was her.
I don't know. Just
That
a
sound
minute.
right?
I'll see. Just a second. Connie Francis.
Pretty sure that was her name. And she was some sort of cool secret agent.
Well, I
So
know that name, so
I just got stuck wanting to do that. And then in 3rd grade, I was cast, believe it or not, I was a skinny little kid. But because I was kind of a ham and got up at the front of the class when we sang uh let's see, it was a Christmas, it's you better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Well, I did the whole thing. Better watch out, better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. And my music teacher pulled me up back after class, and I remember thinking, uh-oh, I'm in trouble, because I was doing all these little motions and all the kids were laughing. And she's like,
uh-huh.
would you like to play Santa Claus in our school play? And so I almost died back there because they stuffed me with so many pillows, and I was in this chimney, this cardboard chimney. But my mom and dad got the biggest kick out of the fact that their little skinny girl in 3rd grade was Santa Claus. And so I think I was screwed then. Like I was in. I loved being on stage. Everyone laughed. I'm kind of prone to being more comedic than dramatic, and so that was really fun.
So you didn't play Santa Claus the way that Billy Bob Thornton did?
I'd like to. But
Yeah,
yeah, it
Connie
started
France.
kind of there, and then eventually I wound myself out to LA and got my first commercial with Barbara Stanwyck and Dennis Weaver. That was my SAG card.
Oh,
That was
wow.
my big, yeah, it was pretty fun. That was my very first thing, and I had a great agent, Beverly Hecht. She's not with us anymore, but and I started working. And not too long after that, the next few years, I found myself on the set of The Naked Cage with this little cute redhead knocking on my door. And I opened it up and she said, I don't know, the director says we're supposed to be friends. So I guess we're going to be friends for life. And that was Lisa London. And there we were yesterday watching that movie and going on a hike first. So that happened.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that movie too. French Exit with Michelle Pfeiffer. Yep. Yeah, I usually, unless something really grabs me, I usually go to the films that aren't advertised so much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes I kind of see what, like I mentioned the other movies playing I haven't seen. It's like I could see the tropes from a mile away, you know? It's like, yeah. So anyway, yeah, Lisa Connie Francis is a singer I'm noticing on here. I don't know what
It's something Francis. I will figure it out. It's
maybe Anne Francis, maybe. I don't
Anne
know.
Francis. That's got to be it. That's
Anne
got to be it.
Francis?
Yeah, I'll bet you it was Anne Francis. I know it had a Francis on it, and I
Yeah.
know she was. Let's look. Let's look. Anne Francis. She looks like it. Forbidden Planet. Honey West.
Honey
Yes,
West.
Honey West. Does that sound familiar to you now?
No, but I know Forbidden Planet.
Why when you said tomboy, I'm like, well, tomboy. Her name was Honey West. I mean, I was like, I want to be Honey West. So I was out there with my little. I think I took my dad's his hats, made it look like a fedora, tipped it over one eye, put on some sunglasses. I was out there playing Honey West. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, back to school celebrating 35 years. So I would have been 14 when that came out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I didn't see it at age 14, mind you, but
Oh, okay.
but I've seen it a lot since. Got the Blu-ray. I love the original theatrical poster though that has them there, the the graduation hat on and the
Oh yeah,
diploma and
great. I
yeah,
know.
yeah. And of course, you know, he's after splitting from his ex-wife, um, he's got to go reconnect with his son. And of course, you know, he makes a stop at the wrong dorm, but doesn't realize it. You know, hello, hello.
Yeah, he thinks he's in a sorority. No, he thinks he's in a fraternity and he's in a sorority.
And he goes upstairs and he says, he says something, and you just see you stop in the shower like
Yeah,
a
he says
deer in
like
the headlight. And he goes, "Hey, mister, I'm talking to you." And you he pulls the shower thing open. And you scream, and he goes, "Hey, I didn't see a thing." And he pulls the curtain open. You're perfect.
no, that's I had no idea at the time, what a compliment that was going to be further on in my life. But it's yeah, it was. You don't know when you're doing. It's just another movie, and Rodney Dangerfield was huge and an amazing star to work with, and
Mhm.
really a cool guy. He just was that guy that you're on that set. You're in a room that's full of this weird mist that smells strange. I don't know if they used oil then or what. They change it through the years, but it wasn't the easiest thing to breathe and it was kind of uncomfortable. And then he was so concerned, hey, make sure this girl's got a robe. Are you comfy, honey? Are you okay? He was really, I mean, I was kind of scared because I thought he'd been kind of a dick on his stand up. And I didn't know. I thought, what if he's one of those big stars who's just like kind of rude or, oh my gosh, like your dad's friend or your granddad or yeah, he was just so cool. And that was a great experience, but little did I know it was going to become an iconic film. I just thought it was a great experience, and I was bummed because there was dialogue. There was a lot more dialogue between us where I cover myself up, and before he closes it, he starts asking me questions like, have you heard of his son's name in the show? And I say no. And and I'm all nervous. The whole thing, it's supposed to be kind of funny, because he just keeps talking to me like it's a normal conversation, and I'm answering him, and I'm getting more and more uncomfortable. And then finally he just does, okay, bye, you don't know anything, and he shuts it, and then he opens up and goes, "You're perfect." And and that was funny, but it was funnier to take all that dialogue out. Like, I was so disappointed when I went into the movie, and I was sitting in the very back of the theater, and I was there with my then husband, and I remember he's like, "Oh, you look great, you look great." Shh, there's dialogue coming, and it's over before there's any dialogue. But I remember the whole audience just burst into roaring laughter, and I'm like, okay, that was better. I lost my dialogue, but that does it. That'll be remembered. That's really funny.
I
Um,
remember the next scene where Rodney is walking out with the cop, and the cop goes, "Oh, it could happen to anybody, you know." And Rodney says, "You're all right, officer. You're all right." And he gives him some money, because Thornton Millen, the character he
right,
plays, is
right.
rich, and he goes, "Here, here's some for the kids." He goes, "I don't have any kids. You don't have any kids? Get yourself some kids, will you?" He said, "Remember the thing about kids. The best thing about kids is making them."
Yeah. No, that was great. That was great. And they threw a really great rap party too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I just
Did
remembered that last night when I was thinking about the whole show and everything.
did Oinko Boinko perform at it?
You know, I got there a little late. It seems like that would have been appropriate, but I don't think that happened. And I'm hoping I'm not mixing up rap parties. I think it was at the top of the Roosevelt in
Okay.
Hollywood. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mixing it up with a different rap party, but I'm pretty sure that was it. And it was really fun. And my dad happened to be in town, and he came. So that was so fun for him to meet everybody. And Sally Kellerman was,
Oh,
um, yeah, and that was a big deal for him because she was Hots from Houlihan. I mean, no, she was
Hot
Hot
Lips,
Lips
Hot Lips,
Houlihan.
Callahan, and MASH. Yep,
Yeah. Was it Callahan from
yep.
the MASH? I got mixed up because we got Lisa on the brain. She was in that movie Hot. So I'm like, yeah, but she was Hot Lips Houlihan, who I had actually met years before in a hotel because I was a fan of the Smothers Brothers, and she used to travel with them, doing, I don't know if did she sing? Why would she be on a bill with the Smothers Brothers? But she was in Chicago, in in the suburbs, at a place called Golf Mill Playhouse. No idea, but I was a fan who went there as a teenager and met her. Little did I know I'd be in a movie, I don't know, 10 years later, I guess.
It's funny because the part that Sally Kellerman plays, the English teacher,
Mm.
that could have been so cardboard, but
Oh,
she brought it to life so well, because on paper that could look like a nothing part. And they
probably, but
brought
not
her.
with her, with reading that poem.
Oh
Oh
boy,
my God.
she made that part great, and she held her own with Rodney. And I thought Sally Kellerman, like, she did Moving Violations the year before her, where she was playing this evil judge, and here she's this English teacher, and she just the loveliest person, and she just brings to hold your own against with Rodney Dangerfield. You got to have a lot of skill, and she does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked her in this movie.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, everybody, it was just one of those movies, everybody was cast perfectly. Oh,
Who's my kitty?
who is that? What?
Skittles.
Oh, that's a great kitty name, except it doesn't tell me, is it a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
Hello.
He's like, Japers, why you got me up here? Why? Because you're gonna jump up on my lap.
I love the tail. I don't know where Molly is. Molly. Usually, sometimes she'll pop up here, but I don't think she's interested today.
Well,
She's
I
out.
knew you had cats, and like, oh, he came over here, so
Oh yeah, love seeing kitty cats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I love my kitty. He's a rescue, but
oh, he's a good way to
yeah,
go.
yeah,
Except
but
then you don't know exactly how old they are. Like my cat was a rescue in 2006, so this is 2021.
wow.
I don't know how old she is, but she still hops around like a kitten.
I don't know how old mine is, but my mom had a Facebook post from 2011 with Skittles on it, so I'm like, okay, we couldn't have been too far before that, but you could,
Right.
yeah, but but yeah, Sally Kellerman was great in that movie. Here's a question I have about Rodney. I hear a lot of stories about him wearing a bathrobe. Now, did he do that on set?
You know, I'm not. Why do I picture him in one?
Well, I know he wore one and
Why would he be wearing? Wait.
because that was part of his act. He always wore a
I
bathrobe.
know, but it wouldn't make sense. Wait, if we have, I now I need to look at footage. I don't know what he was wearing because I was so nervous. I was just,
Well, he was wearing regular clothes when in your scene, but I
yeah.
know there was a scene where he showed up for the diving thing, and he
Well, that would make
showed
sense.
up in a bathrobe.
That would make sense. I wasn't there for that scene. And it's funny that I picture him in a bathrobe as you say that, but I think because I've seen him in other films in a bathrobe, I don't think he was in a bathrobe in mine, but he
No,
handed me a bathrobe to make sure that I was comfortable.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't think so in that scene. We were in some house, one of those really beautiful old style homes in the Hancock Park area of Los Angeles, where it looks like you could shoot for an Eastern area because they have the elm trees, and they have oak trees, they have no palm trees, and it's more of a Eastern, like Eastern seaboard kind of architecture.
Hmm.
So yeah, so we were in, that was supposed to be the sorority or fraternity house. And I think he was dressed appropriately for walking in the middle of the day. Oh my God, that cat's tail is huge right in front of the camera. That's
I
hilarious.
was interviewing somebody the other day. Said the tail reminded him of a brontosaurus neck.
Oh,
I'm trying.
I was thinking, that's funny. I was thinking that it sort of looked like a boom going the wrong direction. Present part, like coming up in your face, getting in your way.
I'm trying to keep him from getting up on the keyboard. Kitty, I have to do an interview.
So cute. I want
Yeah.
her here, but she's not coming. So I'll just I'll just drink some more celebratory. It's actually prosecco. Some more bubbles.
It's waving right in front of me, that tail.
Oh my God.
He wants attention.
They do. And they'll
Yep.
look on your computer right at that moment when you're trying to really get a document finished that's
Hmm.
important and it's time sensitive. And there they go. And they just clatter on your keyboard and mess it all up and stick
Yep.
their tail in their butt in your face.
Yep. There. Down now. He drooled on my mouse pad.
There you go.
Thanks, Kitty.
Oh, so worth it though.
Yo, yeah, I love my cat. Um, but yeah, now the water, was it hot or cold when they you did that scene?
Ha! Funny, because you think they'd want it cold to
Mm-hmm.
give you the. Um, this is bad, but it was 35 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say lukewarm because I don't remember being uncomfortable, and I just remember being treated so well. I've done other scenes where I'm topless, and most of them you're treated pretty well, but here and there I feel maybe not so respected. They treated me like I was a queen. Yeah. So I don't think and nobody made any like, all right, let's keep it cold to keep the nipples hard or anything like that. Nobody made any of those comments. Nobody asked for that. I think they even asked me too hot, too cold, like they wanted it where I'm comfortable. And but they did want me to step away from the shower a little bit because then of course you step in the air and yeah, there go the nipples anyway.
It's funny because I've interviewed Francine Locke, who was the woman in the shower at the beginning of Risky Business.
Oh wow.
Yep, yep, and she had some similar experiences too. Um, but so you had no problem doing nudity.
At that point, no, I didn't. Not topless.
Mm-hmm,
So I'm half German.
mm-hmm.
So I was raised, my mom was German, my dad was American, and he met her over there. They got married there. I was conceived there. Then I was born here, but basically raised more with sort of a European kind of that they're a little more sexually open and and body freedom and just like going nude around the house wasn't a big deal. And in fact, how blue can I get? Can I get because let's put it this way. It was so common for our family to walk around naked in the house, like on a Sunday morning, for instance, or go to a hot springs and and appropriately so. The only penis I'd ever seen was my dad or my little brothers, and they were always hanging down because it was appropriately that way. They weren't excited about walking around with, the kids or anything like that. So the first time I was ever with a guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I like eighth grade, it was the first time the guy ever took my hand and put it on his dick.
Okay.
I immediately pulled it away. It was in a field at the end of our street. And I went, I'm so sorry. And I ran home. I mean, I feel like an idiot. I thought I was pretty educated, but I knew what happened to have sex. I just didn't know that it got hard because the only penises I'd ever seen were, I guess it's called flaccid, and that's healthy. It's a good thing. But literally, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, his name happened to be Greg. I'm like, oh my God, Greg's had some sort of operation where they had to stick some sort of brick in there or rod or something like there's something over his, oh gosh, what was that? And I ran home and I told my girlfriend and she's like, oh my God, that's a good thing. How do you think that works? And I'm like, I don't know. And I mean, yeah. So how the hell did I get off on that tangent? Nudity. Yeah, no,
Nudity.
not uncomfortable with nudity at all. Just like I said, till I was 14, I thought they only looked a certain way and I just thought they were squishy. I didn't understand it. I thought they flopped around, and it's not like I stared at my dad or anything. It was just what I knew. And so when this guy had me, I was just like, like, and then I learned, oh, that means he's attracted to me. That's a good thing. They didn't teach that part when they did sex education in school. They were
Oh,
just
I think sex education now. I think they teach you that a stork brings kids. Of course, I never wanted kids, so I'm good to take care of my cat.
I am now. I went through the kids. They're grown and out,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. My son, I have a 23-year-old who still is home once in a while. He's mostly with his girlfriend. And then I have one traveling the globe.
What
Even in this,
what'd they think of back to school?
they think it's really cool that okay, well, here's the thing. They're not crazy about the whole, neither of them lean in the direction of acting whatsoever, although my older son is a very talented musician, and I have fantasies of him playing in a coffee shop, like with the low light and playing like that song from Boyhood. Remember Richard Linklater's film Boyhood? He does that really well. He's really good. He has a really unique voice, but he happens to be a big wig in tech, so he's making the big bucks and I don't think he's going to be sitting in the back of a coffee shop anytime soon. Instead, unless he just decides to do that for fun, which I still am encouraging him to do. But anyway, yeah. So that's one. He's gone, and the other one is also in tech. My dad was a scientist. My ex-husband is an inventor, so they got that stuff. And aside from my one son who can sing and play guitar, they didn't really get the artistic gene. And my ex, being the inventor, he was in a band. He was a drummer with Nikki Sixx in a band right before Motley Crue.
Mm-hmm.
So
it wasn't Johnny Hernandez from Oikle Boikle.
oh my ex, no. He's from a band called London, and his is the last name Scarborough. I'm not Leslie Huntley anymore. Even though we're divorced, we're good friends, and I kept the name because my kids are that name, and so I just stayed with Scarborough. But wait, no, I know I was making a point here about artistry and what they thought, what the boys thought. Well, so they're not the most crazy about my whole acting career. It doesn't impress them. They don't care. They're more, I put on fake lashes, by the way, to really like doll it up. And now I'm like they have magnets on them. It's really cool. So I'm just making sure I had enough of the magnetic stuff. So let's see. The nude stuff, because again, I raised my kids to be pretty free and open. It's true, they're fine. They don't have a real problem with it, but it's when they're kids. When my oldest son was a teenager, it was right around the time I think Rodney passed away. Mm-hmm. And it was when Rodney passed away that this movie sort of came back into my life. The only sense I had that it was at all something that I would be sitting here talking about today was in Sun Valley, Idaho, which is where we lived for about 14 years. We went and raised our kids up in Idaho. It was beautiful. And they're not just a resort Idaho town. They're like a pretty cosmopolitan place with a lot of gallery walks and amazing restaurants and chefs from everywhere. And I was on a gallery walk with my family, and there were these two guys. So you were 14 when it came out. I'm trying to think, because this was 1994, maybe almost 10 years later. And they were guys maybe in their early 20s, and they kept on going. And they're looking at me, and they're going, and then finally, and they're like taunting each other. Finally, one of them sends the other one over to talk to me. He goes, "Were you in back to school?" And I'm like, yeah. I mean, it was still, I was like, yeah, like, seriously? And like, I thought, how are they? I had such a small part. And they said, "Were you the girl in the shower?" And I'm like, yes. And he goes, "Oh my God." And then he goes running back to the other guy, and they're all just like, oh, and they're looking at me. And that was the first time I realized that anybody had like remembered or noticed that. So then cut to when Rodney died. And I guess it started playing a lot. And
2004. I remember hearing that on the news.
So another almost 10 years later. Yeah. And that's when I started getting fan mail, and that's when I started getting, apparently there's a certain age group of guys that got the DVD and freeze frame. And there were a lot of them out there. I bump into them from time to time.
So you got the Phoebe Cates Fast Times at Ridgemont High treatment.
Well, that's an honor.
Yeah, well, she got freeze framed a lot too, so you're in good company.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that, but when I think about it, of course. Oh my God, of course that would have been freeze framed. The whole concept to me was just so alien. I'm like, you what? And then as I got older, I mean, now I'm much older, and even in my 50s, I'm in my 60s. But
I thought you were 39.
Yeah, let's go with that. Eternally.
just like Lisa London, 39.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
She never changes.
I even said this about Christine DeBelle. Still looks the same as she did in
Oh, love
Meatballs.
her. Yes, yes, she does.
I had Christine on the first year I did this. I call her my favorite meatball.
Oh, that's perfect. She's a hoot. She must have
Yep.
been so fun. Oh, she's great.
Yep.
So yeah, we had a wild time in those days.
I
That
was
was
listening to the commentary track Amy Heckerling was doing on Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and they mentioned this about videotapes, and I forget how they could tell, but apparently the scene with Phoebe was paused a lot or freeze framed or something. I don't know how to
yeah,
tell that.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
So
and they could tell at the Blockbuster or
I
something.
have no
Yeah,
idea, but
that's fun.
no, it was great that Lisa London put me in touch with you, and when she said we got talking about Rodney because Lisa worked with Rodney. I think it was in the
Right.
Godson or something,
Hmm.
and it's funny because I interviewed Adrienne Barbeau back in the first year I was doing this podcast, and love her in Escape from New York. So it's so funny seeing her play the snitty ex-wife of Rodney in the beginning of the film. And she told a story. I said to her, I said, "Did you give Rodney any respect?" And she goes, "Well, I don't know about respect, but I showed up on set one day and there was this lineup of girls outside his trailer."
Well, somebody was giving him respect.
I guess, you
That's
know.
great.
And I had Bill Kennison on in tribute to Sam. I
Mhm.
think one of the best jokes in the movie is Sam Kennison playing uh, um, a history professor.
It's brilliant. It's hilarious.
And one joke people I don't see people get this. His character's name is Professor Turgensen. That is the name of the George C. Scott character from Doctor Strangelove.
Oh, that, that's one of those little, what do they call them? Hidden Easter eggs. That's like
I totally got that.
a wink, wink. Like, yeah, that's cool. I wouldn't know that. I would know that now, seeing something, because my video or movie file abilities started. I mean, I was too young. Doctor Strangelove is, well, maybe I didn't take that much interest in that movie. It kind of scared me as a
Hmm.
kid. Um, yeah, so I wouldn't know the reference, but yeah,
And
that's
and
smart.
and of course I had Johnny Hernandez on from Oingo Boingo, and of course they performed Dead Man's Party in that
Love
movie.
that.
Yeah, and he was a great guy to talk to. He still got the funny hair. Sometimes
Does
it's
he?
colored
Oh, that's
blue.
right.
Yeah, oh yeah. Sometimes it's colored blue. He was great to talk to, and they still perform. Um, but you mentioned Rap Party. What do you remember about the Rap Party? Was Rodney there?
Funny you should say, what do I remember?
Okay.
You see this? Not a big drinker, but I wasn't driving that night. And I also, it was a big night for me because my little sister was there, my dad was visiting, so it was a big family night, and they're taking care of me and I'm celebrating, and it's like sort of in like I remember dancing. I remember talking to Sally Kellerman. I remember my dad being very impressed with that. And I was so happy he got to meet her. I remember eating. Again, it's like flashes of fun, and I think I drank a lot that night. It was
did,
the 80s.
did you dance with Rodney?
I don't think I did. I think that I would remember. I can't imagine blanking that out. So I doubt that I did. But I can imagine what that would have been like. but then that's probably like a scene in a movie in my head. You know what I mean?
Did you meet Adrian Barbeau or Sam Kennison? You didn't get to meet them?
I didn't. We were in totally separate scenes. No,
Mm,
but I was definitely a fan of both,
yeah.
and proud to be in a movie that they were both in. I remember just feeling like, okay, I made it now.
We,
And then what was funny is I kind of didn't do a whole hell of a lot after that, because not too long after that I got pregnant. We moved to Sun Valley, and I ended up hosting an après ski show up there. So kind of changed lanes a little bit, and I
we
really
do
loved
get
it.
we
Yeah.
do got to talk about some of the other cast members though, just because there's so many great roles. Burt Young, of course, playing the chauffeur slash bodyguard of Rodney. I really liked the character arc he had, especially when he has that heart to heart with uh, Keith Gordon, Dangerfield's son in the movie. I like he says, your pa's looking out for you. He says, "Look, I have two sons. I put one through school and one through a wall."
It's hilarious. It's so great. And Burt Young, oh my gosh, he was.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think he's gone too, right? Yeah.
No, I think he's still with us.
Is he? Oh God, what a terrible thing for me to say.
I
I'm,
think he's still with us. Let me check, see how old he is
oh, I
now.
hope he is. And I feel terrible about saying that if he's not.
80 years old.
Oh my God, and he looks great. He looks like Burt Young. Why did I thought that? Oh, that's terrible. I shouldn't have said that. I did not know that. Or I was in a different timeline. You know, the Mandela effect?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I liked his role in the movie, and I'm going to tell you somebody else that's so underrated in the movie
Ooh,
is Paxton Whitehead, who played
name.
um, let me trying to think of the name of the teacher he played.
I'll let you think.
Philip Barbay. Played Philip Barbay. He was the teacher that he had the conflicts with.
My God, I can't picture this person. Hold on, let me look him up, because I'm
Yeah,
good at this, and I'll know as soon as I see him. And I know that name, Paxton Whitehead. I feel like I've
yeah.
seen other things
Well,
too.
he
Here he
played
is.
the one of the other professors.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, he's intense. He's good.
You
Yeah,
want me to tell you what I liked about him?
sure.
Is I really admired the character he played because he's not a villain. In fact, his arguments against Thornton Mellon in the film, you kind of see where he's coming from.
Yeah, no, that's that. Yeah, I remember. He's like a he's the sane. He's sanity.
But I love the fact that he's not a villain. He's actually the kind of professor that you want your kids to have.
Exactly.
I thought his character was great because yeah, he's trying to counter Thornton, but he's not doing it in a sabotaging way, you know. But I love the fact that he was not a bad guy. He like if I had kids, I don't want kids, but if I had kids and they were going to a college and they had a professor like Philip Barbay, I'd be like, you got a great teacher.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love the character. Um, I also, how cool is it? Robert Downey Jr. was in that, and when he had that little helmet on his head with the rocket through it, I'm like, was that pre Iron Man? Was that Iron Man in the early
It was
years?
way pre Iron Man. See, these little things, it life is amazing. It really is, because you can go back and go, huh, like, yeah, that was pre Iron Man, but there you have it. It's
That
right.
might have been Iron Man the early years.
It really makes you wonder how the fabric all fits together. It's kind of beautiful. It's
And Keith Gordon as Rodney's son. Um, I think he's a director now. He was in Jaws 2. He was in one of my favorite thrillers, Dressed to Kill. I love that movie. And he was in Christine, and he was in this. And
wait, Christine and Christine, was he the kid with the car?
yeah,
Oh yeah. That movie scared me. That was a
yeah,
good movie. That was Stephen King, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Directed by John Carpenter. Yeah, Keith Gordon, good at, and Terry Farrell as his love interest. She was stunning.
Terry Farrell. I know that name too, and I can't.
She was the girl that Keith Gordon had the eyes on.
Okay.
And of course, William Zabka, fresh off of the Karate Kid and European Vacation, plays, of course, the jock in this film. He's really good at playing a jock, but I heard in person he's a really nice guy.
Well, jocks aren't necessarily not nice guys.
Yeah, but
There's
he
jocks out
always seemed to play the jerk,
there. The jerky jock.
you
Yeah.
know. But I'm hearing
Yeah.
the opposites about him, you know, because
Well,
of course
that's
in the
always
Karate Kid he was the
yeah, he was a
bad
good
guy, you
kid.
know.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
was the villain.
yeah. So you had a great cast of characters, and of course
Amazing.
somebody that also Lisa London has connected me with, Becky LeBeau,
Yeah, Becky,
Bubbles,
I told you, Bubbles. Here we go.
Bubbles, Bubbles. Of course, Rodney was like, what's a bath without bubbles? Bubbles, come on over
Exactly.
here.
That's another classic, total classic line. And those two are working on a movie. I don't know if you've heard called Bigfoot or Bust.
Oh, I'm all familiar with it because I've interviewed Jim Wynorski, who's directing it.
It looks like it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I love that they're both doing that. I've gone
Yeah,
off different tangents, so I'm doing more spokesperson type stuff, and I'm a voice for being fit after 50. I found my niche.
yeah, but you're 39. This is how I got through school. I didn't have to study.
You got through school? Like,
Telling the teacher how young they were.
ah,
Forget those exams. But no, you had a great cast in Back to School,
yeah, we really did.
and had so many great lines. I'm seeing if there's anybody else. Emma Walsh was in this as Coach Turnbull. He's still with us. Ned Beatty playing Dean Martin.
What? Now I didn't see that part. Did I see that part?
Remember, he played the dean,
Oh,
but his name was Martin.
Martin.
Dean Martin.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. I'm
I
like all
thought,
of a sudden picturing him doing a Dean Martin impersonation, and I'm like, wait, I did not see that. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and of course, Kurt Vonnegut playing himself in the movie.
I know. Classic.
Oh, that was funny. Like if how are you gonna pass the test if you got major assignment about Kurt Vonnegut? How can you pass the test if you haven't read any of his work? And of course, he opens the door. I'm Kurt Vonnegut here for Thornton Millen.
That was great.
There were so many great lines in this movie. Do you have any favorite lines in this movie?
Well, to me, I loved Sally Kellerman's poem. I mean,
Yeah.
that really got me. And
Yes, yes.
you really want to know my favorite line? Come on.
Yeah,
My favorite line is, "You're perfect."
you're perfect.
How could I not have that as my favorite line?
What was Alan Matter like working as a director?
Oh, he was cool. Like I said, that was a 1-day shoot. It was a 1-day shoot in this really cool house. I just showed up in the morning, and like I said, I was treated like a queen, and I was wearing like a light beige kind of thong. I want to say flesh colored, but depends what flesh, if it didn't offend somebody today. So my flesh colored thong.
Yeah.
It was light beige and nothing else. And a robe that Rodney made sure I had. And it was a fall day. I think it was in November of 1985. I remember it was a kind of a rainy morning. And they had me out by 3 in the afternoon. And it was a really pleasant, like, I had some experiences in movies that were better than others. That's one of the highlights. That was a nice, smooth, respected. Oh, I know you were asking me if I had problems with nudity. Maybe you want to know if I've been nude in other films. Yes.
Well, I'm going to bring up some of your other films, so we'll maybe come back to that. But
Oh God, I hope I wasn't nude in not every one you bring up. I could have been.
well,
No.
there's some notable ones I am going to bring up, whether you were nude in them or not. But because some of them I haven't seen, but I've heard of. So, but nonetheless, yeah, Rodney, this was a big hit for him.
Huge.
After doing Caddyshack and Easy Money, and he
It's
went on to,
also
of course, do Ladybugs, and he was a natural born killers. He was, uh,
he
interesting
was a
seeing him do
creep.
that.
He was the creepy dad in that.
Yeah.
For
Juliette
fun.
Lewis, I heard her interviewed by Howard Stern, and actually her and Woody Harrelson both said that they had a hard time keeping a straight face when Rodney was on set.
I can imagine,
But I
but
heard that Rodney had a hard time with that part, which I
yeah,
can
he's
kind of
really
get.
such a nice guy. He probably didn't want to be that jerk, but boy, he's shows you his acting chops because he took it. He bit into that hook, line, and sinker. He scared the shit out of me watching that
And of
film.
course,
I was like,
Edie McClurg played his wife in that movie, and of course, she was the woman doing the typing in that class when he didn't show up and back to school.
that's so funny. That is, I didn't know
I'm
that.
Thornton Millen's secretary.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that's right.
Yeah,
I love hearing stuff like that. That just, like I said, just weaves the tapestry all together.
and he did meet Wally Sparks. Yeah, I've always loved Rodney, and I really like Back to School. And yeah, I'm glad that 35 years old. I'm glad we're able to celebrate this. This is not your only anniversary I'm noticing on here because I haven't seen this movie, but
What?
you were in Hamburger the Motion Picture. I got to see this because it's one of those high school slash college movies. I got to see this. And you're
Yeah.
listening. Yeah, talk about that.
What's funny is there was this casting director. Her name was Melissa Scoff,
Hmm.
and she cast me in that, and she cast me in this, and there might have been a couple others. Sometimes you just connect with somebody, and they just know what you can do, and they call you in. And I'm trying to remember. I think it was for Hamburger.
Hmm.
One of them I had to um, do a simulation of an orgasm, sort of like Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan and When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, kind of. But I had that aired yet? Was that out? I don't know. But I had to just come into the office, and it was like one of those big desk offices, and producer Dre, they're all sitting behind it. And she's sort of next to me, and she just says, she kind of looks at me like, just go for it, and she's like, I need you to simulate having an orgasm. And
Hmm.
I was like, okay. So I just got into it, and that's the part. I got that part. And then I had oh gosh, what was his name? He was on Knots Landing, the guy that I was in bed with.
I don't know. I haven't actually seen that movie. I got to see that because it looks like something I kind of like.
He was on Knots Landing, blonde haired guy. I know you're gonna know who he is. He had a name like, I want to say Lock McLaughlin, but that's not it. It's got a Mc something.
Oh, Lee McCloskey.
That's it. How'd you
Okay,
know?
because
You
I
just
just looked it up.
oh, there we go. Well, I said, well, Lock McLaughlin. I was close. Also, really nice guy. Really nice guy. Since then, I've been to his house for a screening of a movie that was about completely different. He's gone in a different direction as well. He's he's sort of an activist, and he showed this really amazing film, and it was very about planet and where we're at, and it was very inspirational. And that's probably just a few years ago, and he lives in Malibu with his, I think, been married a long time.
Oh, just looking him up. He was in Dario Argento's Inferno. Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
I didn't know that either.
Argento is one of my favorite Italian filmmakers. He did Deep Red and Suspiria, and
He
so
related to that Asia Argento woman?
Asia Argento,
Oh, Asia,
it's her
whatever.
dad. Actually,
Ah,
it's funny.
picking out
Her
those pieces.
her mom was Daria Nicolodi, and she just passed away last year. And when she passed away, I counted my lucky stars. I had her on the February before.
Oh yeah, wow.
Because originally she had turned me down in 2016 when I approached her for an interview because she didn't want to talk about all the Argento movies she kept talking over and over about. And so I let it go. And then Deep Red was celebrating its 45th anniversary. And I was like, I'm going to try this again. Plus, I was at a convention where I met Lamberto Bava. Now, Lamberto is the son of Mario Bava, another Italian filmmaker who passed away this right around the time Hitchcock did. And Mario had Daria in his last movie. And plus, she was also in one of Lamberto's movies. So I approached her with that information. And I remember her saying, this interview probably won't happen. That's a quote on Twitter. But I told her what I had in mind. And she said she would do the interview on two conditions. She said, one, she wanted to just talk about her love of the Bavas, especially Mario
Oh,
Bava. And
nice.
one, she wanted to talk about her daughter, Asia. So I said, sure. I had her on. We did talk about some of the Argento stuff, like
And what
Deep
year was
Red.
that?
Deep Red came out in 75.
No, but what was the year that you were having this conversation with her?
2020, just before
Oh,
lockdown.
wow. So everything had already, the Me Too stuff, all of that. Um, wow.
So I was so happy to get Daria on. I always liked her, and yeah, we talked about Asia, and yeah, Dario is her dad, yeah, who's had her in a few movies. But yeah, and that was McCloskey there was in Inferno. I'm like, okay, Daria was in Inferno as well.
I'm telling you, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I haven't seen Hamburger the motion picture. I got to see that because it looks like something I would like.
it's fun. It's really just typical of the genre at that time, and those college silly. It's just a fun send up of those days, and it's Hamburger College. I mean, really, but I looked it up. There really were places like that. I'm not kidding. You could find it. I forget what fast food places sent their people to their hamburger colleges or hot dog schools or whatever, but it wasn't as crazy as it sounds. And my only scenes in that were in bed. I don't think I was nude though. I think I was like in lingerie with Lee McCluskey. And then yeah, there was one other quick scene I was a sorority girl again. Um, typecasting. Not really. I never was a sorority girl, but it's funny how you go from right now. Like I said, I'm in a niche right now of the fit after 50 thing. Like you get in a niche, and hey, ride that niche when you're an actor or you're TV personality or whatever you are, and you've got it's keep going. I'm taking it as it comes. So.
And
Yeah.
then, of course, The Naked Cage, which you did with Lisa London.
Yeah, that was a life changer, that movie.
Talk
It,
about working on that.
um, Well, I think I told you about that wonderful moment where she knocked on my trailer, and I guess the director had told her, "I see you two." What did he call us? Little kittens, becoming great friends.
Hmm.
And he sent her. He said, "Go
Predicted
knock."
it well.
Pardon me.
He predicted it well.
He
You're
did.
still friends.
Yeah, yeah, and on the wrap party of that film, she introduced me. Uh-oh, did you hear me say introduced it me? I finished this. Party in the afternoon. I'm not really a day drinker, but this is a unique occasion. Um, anyway, she introduced me to my soon to be after that husband. So, and we were married 25 years after that. So that was, and we had 2 kids. So that was, like I said, a life changing film. And I was dating the director and an actor in the film at the time. So yeah, it was, and then I made one of my best friends for life. So that was great. And there's this wonderful girl, Faith Minton. I don't know if you know who she is, and Carolina White. We were all the kind of badass girls that were in the prison together. And
Okay.
Faith Minton was my girlfriend. She's a bigger girl. She's beautiful. I mean, I want to say she's gets cast, I think, as the tough girl, but she's actually very feminine, very beautiful cheekbones and big green eyes and long dark lashes. And I don't know where she is. I should look her up because she was a really wonderful person, great actress. And also Carolina White, who I know is still working a lot. I don't know if you know who she is.
No,
But
but I saw her name on there, so
oh yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah, she's a comedian. She does a lot of work. And then there was another girl, and I don't remember her name. Dark hair, really pretty. I know Lisa would know who I'm talking about. I want to say Laura. It's escaping me right now. It was a long time ago. Sherry Shattuck was the star. I
Huh?
think Sherry Shattuck. She was the star. She was the main girl in the film.
Oh, you talk about Lucinda Crosby. Is that who you were talking about?
The one I couldn't think of the name of.
Yeah. Played
Who is it?
Rhonda?
I don't. I don't think so. I don't think I know who that is. Dark or light
Okay.
hair? Do you know what she looks like?
No, there's no picture of her on here.
Hmm.
I just trying to find somebody close to a Lori name, but yeah.
Complete. I'm Martha. Maybe Martha. I don't know. Just a beautiful girl. Everybody was pretty. And Angel Tompkins was the warden. And in some versions, I have a little sexy scene with her, and in some versions, it was cut out. Seriously, I don't do much except take off my top, and that's how I got the nickname Peaches on set.
You
Which
played
ended,
Peaches in a prison movie, huh?
well, yeah, that was in my 20s. I had some peaches there. Now they're older peaches.
Now, Stewardess School, I've interviewed Julia Montgomery from that movie.
Oh my God, I love her. She was
Yeah.
the coolest. Yeah, yeah. She was a. I don't remember what show she was on at the time. I feel like she was on a soap.
Well,
And then,
I know her best from Revenge of the Nerds.
oh, maybe that's where I
She
recognized her.
she she was a cheerleader in that.
Yeah. That's
And I,
all I know is I was on set and I started talking to her, and she was the most friendly, warm girl. And I thought she was a pretty big star. And I was like all excited to meet her. And she's a girl's girl. She was just a really cool person. Yeah. And she made me feel real comfortable because I had a very small part on that. I think it was a day. And that one, I had to take my top off. I had fun, but again, boobs to me, like, especially when they're in your 20s, they're all perky and upright, like I can still a little push-up bra, I'm good to go. But back then, yeah, I had to do a whole striptease on a piano. I don't know Did you see that part?
I actually haven't seen the movie, but that I know that Julia Montgomery was in it. But I'm seeing some familiar names on here. Sandal Bergman of Conan the
Oh,
Barbarian.
there were a ton of people in that movie. That was another one of those of that genre of that day. What a blast.
The late Wendy Jo Sperber, who I think is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. She had a big part in that.
Yeah.
And there's a
Judy.
guy that rides a motorcycle. He's a big, heavy dude, and he plays somebody's boyfriend. But once I dance on the table and throw my top off, I jump into his arms, and apparently I took him from whoever he was with. I can't. Corinne Bohrer, I think, was the actress. But we ride off into the sunset, I guess. And he was a really nice dude too. Looked scary. Looked like one of those super biker guys.
Oh,
Teddy.
I see who you're talking about. Yeah.
Who is he? He's a teddy bear. He's just the nicest person.
Corin Byrne. Yeah.
Corinne Bohrer, yeah. She did a lot at that time.
Wow. Okay.
But what was the guy's name that was on the motorcycle? Do you see him? Big I think I worked with him in something else, in a commercial or something. And just a delight. Like just somebody that you feel really safe with when he's on set. He's just a cool guy.
Don't know.
I can't think of his name.
I know that Brett Collins is listed as lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I did a whole fun striptease thing, jumped into some biker's arms and got carried off and put on the back of a motorcycle and off we went.
This was all in 1986. You were busy that year.
I was busy that year. Yes.
And you did War, Women Against Rape.
That was with Lisa again. I got to be raped.
Oh.
Great thing to do, but by Don Swayze, in the most gentle way possible. Again, treated very well. My ex-husband now, but my husband then was on the set and watched the whole thing. It wasn't.
What? Now, what's it like for somebody to watch their wife do a scene like that? Like do a scene, not even necessarily a rape scene, but do a romance scene?
Well, he watched that. You'd have to ask him. He watched that one. And that was not that weird for him because it was all quick cuts. They didn't show like a nasty rape really. They showed sort of the.
Well, I even asked the same question about people that have significant others that are involved in not necessarily a rape scene, but a love scene.
Love scene.
You know?
I know. Well, I didn't have that with those. My biggest love scene was with a woman, and he loved that. With Lydie Denier. Is that her name? Lydie Denier. She's a French actress, and it was in. Do you have the movies I did, right? Because Satan's Princess.
You got Satan's Princess and Demon of Paradise, so a lot of demonic, satanic stuff going on there later on.
Didn't affect me at all. They were actually both really, really good films to work on. Demon of Paradise was in the Philippines. I got married on that film.
Okay.
My ex came down and no love scenes on that one. But on when I was telling you about Satan's Princess, I actually had a kissing scene and topless kissing, kind of sexy stuff. Nothing really went on, but with Lydie Denier and I. And he came to watch that. Let me tell you, I think that was one of the highlights of my career for him. If you ask, was that weird? No, he loved it. But again,
some guys like that.
Well, it wasn't like I was with another guy.
Yeah.
I never had serious love scenes with guys, only one with a girl, and the rest were monsters.
And that had Robert Forster. Of course, we lost not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, wow, what a cool guy to work with. And I had to blow my head off in that movie. And he was very helpful as far as we ended up having to get a stunt person. They wanted me to do this thing with the mouth and the gun in my mouth and the squib that explodes on the back of your head. They had a wig, and I was a little nervous about it. And he was very, very protective and very like proactive about let's check this out and make sure this is okay. And they ended up getting in a stunt person. It was Jessica Lange's stunt double, which I was like honored. And then she didn't want to do it, so they just reduced how they did that scene. She's like, she told me personally, like, yeah, that's a good thing you didn't try that, because even as a pro, there's a lot of explosive for the back of your head. Happens, you know.
Did you have good experiences doing Airwolf?
Yeah, Jan Michael Vincent. Yeah. It's weird when we talk about these and some of these people are no longer.
Yeah, we lost him not too long ago too.
Yeah, he hung in there a long time, man.
Well, I know somebody that was writing a book about him. David Grove, I believe it was him, was writing a book about Jean-Michel Vincent. So, yeah.
Yeah, he had some issues, and I think it was a hard road for him at the end. But again, you hear just wonderful things. But in 1986, November 1986, when I shot Airwolf, he was at the top of his game. Gorgeous beyond belief. Yeah, I was a hooker in the in the show.
So do you ever get to do the convention scenes, like the Comic Cons or anything? Because some of these movies get celebrated at those, and you would
I
think that
know.
Back to School would be one of those movies.
You know, again, I was living in Idaho for 14 years,
Mm-hmm.
raising two boys, and I had a whole nother thing going on where I was a TV host,
Mm-hmm.
and I was skiing a lot and doing this après ski show, and for Resort Sports Network RSN. It's a cable affiliate. I don't know. It's in the it's in the mountain areas. So I didn't even really know about that until I got back here. I'd heard a little bit about it, but I thought it was just for huge stars. And then I found out people were doing that. And yeah, I mean, I probably should look into that. I haven't really followed through on that.
What's the most interesting thing you've ever been asked to sign?
Been asked to sign some strange stuff. Okay, so I was just at a cafe. Well, not a cafe, but like a place, a bar slash cafe slash restaurant with
Mm-hmm.
some girlfriends a few years ago. And the singer in the band was of that certain age. And he came over and he said, "You look familiar," which is really weird because I think many years have passed. But these are guys that he's one of those freeze framers ad nauseum or ad nauseum. And we started talking. Oh, nice person. But he's like, I think he had a little to drink too. He's like, hey, so yeah, I thought you were her. Hey, can you come outside and just take your top off and can I see? And I'm like, no. He goes, oh man, it would be so awesome. I just want to like I'm with co-ed number one, and I want to take a picture and then send it to my friends. And I'm like, sorry, that's not happening. So, and then he wanted me to. No, he didn't want me to sign anything. Now, as far as signing, yeah, I've gotten things sent to me to just sign, mostly pictures. I do feel like there was some weird thing that somebody wanted me to sign, like an imprint of something, but it wasn't what you're thinking. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was more like an imprint of their foot or something. Like they might have wanted me, like not an imprint, but like a stenciled picture of their foot. That was probably
Okay.
a long time ago. Yeah, but the one that stands out to me was the guy that wanted me to step outside. He's the singer in the band, so he thinks, I don't know, somehow I'm gonna do this and go outside and show him so he can recognize. I'm like, he apologized when I was like taken aback, and I'm not easily offended.
No.
But
Well,
that was like, go home and watch your tape, whatever. It's a little weird. Like we're like 30 years later now or whatever. So,
well, you got one that's in the work here called Melody's Tune with Lisa London.
and I'm not topless in that.
No?
No, I'm a detective.
You're a detective. Are you detecting Lisa London as a homeless person in this?
No. She and I are didn't have any scenes together, but we're both involved with a little homeless girl. So we're helping a little homeless girl. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with her and place her, and I think Lisa befriends her and tries to help her out as well as a character. So yeah, that hasn't come out yet. I don't know when it's coming out.
Don't know. We talked about it briefly there when I had her on.
Yeah,
Do you have?
Daniel Yost is I think he wrote, produced, and directed it.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have any charities that you're involved in that you want to plug on here?
Um, no, I can't say that I have any specific charities. I mean, I give to things when it comes up. No, that's okay. I do have an idea. I have an idea for Screen Actors Guild,
What's
and
that?
that is when you've done a lot of stuff that was like a long time ago, and you end up getting residuals for things that are like 38 cents or 23 cents or 50 cents, but then the check you get is 38 cents. Really? Like, I think, and I know this has been put out there before, there should be a fund that those just like everybody should agree under $1 checks, which cost more, the bureaucracy of sending those checks out. Like, I don't need that. Don't send it to me. Put it in a slush fund for out of work actors. Like that there should be, because if I'm getting them and Lisa's getting them and Becky's getting them and anybody who's ever worked in the industry is getting them, that's got to amount to something. So put it all in a fund for, yeah, for like unemployment for actors or something, something they turn to. It's got to add to something. And that's something I've thought of for years. And I just recently got one again for like 48 cents. And I didn't even know what to do with it. And I feel bad throwing it out. It's money. But like, I'm going to deposit. I do end up depositing them. Once in a while, I just toss them. And that just seems wrong because somebody could use that. I could use it if it were more than 48 cents. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yep. So
that
there's not a there's not a charity for something like that out there.
not that I know of.
No.
I've looked at it. I've called them and talked to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's been brought up before. That's something we're gonna discuss." And I'm not active politically in Screen Actors Guild or anything, so I haven't pursued it. But it's something, yeah, I could say that. Or, of course, give to your local animal rescue, and that's a big thing of importance. Um, and I happen to be more of a cat person than a dog person, so
Same here.
But have you ever owned a dog? I hate to say owned.
No, my parents love dogs though.
So I've always loved dogs as well. You just know you're one or the other, and I'm the meow person. But I did have a dog because we thought it would be really good for our kids. So from 99 to 2008, so he lived, how long did he live? 99, 2008. Oh, yeah, and he was a year old when he was about 12, and he was a mid-sized dog. He was part I don't know what. He was a big nut. He was the most amazing animal. When he passed away, I had to go see, what's the movie with Jennifer Aniston, Marley,
Marley, I didn't see that film.
Such a great movie, especially for me. It was therapeutic. I think I saw it 4 times. And you know how much I love cats already, just from this brief interview. And every cat that's passed away on me, and many have, obviously, it's sad. It's horrible. You're losing one of your best friends. But I have never experienced anything like losing a dog, because dogs, I mean, we all know that cats are far more unconditional with their love than non-cat people think they are. However, dog love, oh my God. Like it's unconditional, beyond unconditional. I've never been loved like that. My dog, our family dog chose me. They always kind of hone in on one person, probably because I was the mom and I fed him the most and took him on the most walks. But man, losing him took me 2 years. I ended up having to go to like a animal loss grief therapist before I could finally get over it. It was huge. So I went back to being a cat person after that, because I'm like, shit, I can never go through that again. So there's something major to be said about dogs being man's best friend.
Yeah, one thing I find with cats is that if I have to go on vacation,
oh yeah, that's the beauty.
My brother could go by, make sure he's taken care of, and dogs have to constantly have attention.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't you ever notice when you get home, your cat's mad at you? Your cat
No, my cat's not mad at me. No.
Oh, my cat, she's okay. I mean, she's far above letting me know outright.
Oh, gee, when I come back from Toronto, my cat was like just robbing up against me and missed me and.
Oh, well, there's that too.
Uh-huh.
And mine does that, but then she'll take a couple of days to be aloof. Like, screw you, you left me. I'm not gonna. She doesn't like it when the suitcases come out. She knows right away something's wrong. She gets real too. She's cat attitude. But yeah. So I would, cats and dogs living together. Isn't that from Ghostbusters? Cats
Ghostbusters.
And dogs. Yeah. Yeah. I'm always about giving for the cats and the dogs. And well, Jesus, now, I mean, the homeless, my goodness, this wasn't it was a problem. It's always been a problem. But I recently went back to Venice, where I used to live, and my mouth dropped. Like, I don't know if you've heard about California, but
Oh, I've heard.
this is it's not just a problem, it's an outrage. It's something needs to be done. So
Mm-hmm.
that's way up there in the higher ups. I don't know how to get them to pay attention.
I should tell you about my charity, although I didn't start it, but you got this very humorous personality. I have to bring it up. And generally, it's a charity challenge. And generally, what I'll do is I'll donate to the charity of your choice to get you to accept this challenge. And it's for suicide and depression awareness.
Oh, well, that's a really good one, especially in this past year.
Well, it came about after Robin Williams had sadly left us, and it's called the Doubtfire Face Challenge. And you take a pie in the face and you nominate 3 people. And I've had a few of my guests do this, and some of them were quite creative about it. Sandy Johnson, who of course worked with Lisa London and Hots, she was also in the original Halloween. She had her husband dressed up like Michael Myers, put the pie in her face. Nancy McLaughlin, who was in Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, did it in front of props from the film.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, and there's been a number of others as well. And I would donate to one of their charities. So if you had a charity that you want me to donate to in return for one of these?
Um, like I said, I don't have a specific charity. No problem taking a pie in the face at all. I have no problem with that. But I can't, again, you want to donate to the homeless or the animal rescues or figure out something to do with the SAG residuals, that's great. But I don't see myself doing the like. I have no problem with it, but I just can't see setting that whole thing up. It's not really
I
my.
wouldn't get you to do it during the pandemic anyway,
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah.
Well,
Um,
here I'll do a circle back, and
I've got a few that are on hold for it that are in California. And I told them, I said, don't do it during the pandemic. I wouldn't want anybody to catch something while trying to do this.
gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
put me down as on hold as well because I'm game. Totally.
But if, like I said, if you got a charity
Well, I'll think
that,
of which one it
yeah,
would.
think of one, because I've done this where I would donate to a charity. Like Sandy Johnson, for example, hers was uh, Tunnel for Towers or something like that. It was for first responders, families who lost people at 9/11, for first responders.
Yeah, well, that's really
For Nancy McLaughlin, it was homeless shelter.
okay. Well,
You
my
know,
first thought is the Agora Animal Shelter because that's where I got one of my animals,
there you go.
and it's close by, and I know that they could use it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
But you don't have to do it right now, because I know you're in California, and I'm pretty sure the pandemic's still a little bad there.
Well, the restrictions are the actual pandemic. I looked up. We're doing pretty well. Our numbers are way low. Uh, in the last week, one person in all of LA County has perished from
Ah. We're in the yellow phase here, which is next to the green phase, but
is
I'm
green free. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I
But
think
I'm like, I can't get into the station, but I've been going to the movie since last July. Does that make any sense? Especially since there
well,
could
there's a
be what?
lot that doesn't make sense. I think everybody's just trying to feel it out. There's a lot of things that don't, and everybody's just doing the best they can. So it's first, it's a first time thing. It's a novel event for everybody. So there's
Hmm.
gonna be a lot of things that seem to not. I'm sure we'll look back on this and go like, what? Why did we do that? We already are some of the things that we did. I remember spraying down pizza boxes when they came in. It's really
Oh,
not a surface to, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had my disinfectant out, and then I wore the gloves for a while. And then I realized that the gloves, basically I was touching all the same things. And then I was going like this at the end of the day to take off the gloves. Do you understand? And it wasn't that's not the thing. It's the aerosols coming out of your mouth. Like you really just got to worry about breathing into someone else's mouth. Never being that close.
yeah.
So
But no, like I said, I'll circle around sometime later date, like wait till things calm down. And yeah.
yeah, get back to me on that, and I'll even talk to them and see if that's something that I'm sure that they would really enjoy that. Yeah, and then hey, you could get Lisa to put a pie in my face, and I could put pie in her face. That would be
Lisa London said she wouldn't do it because she said she didn't want stuff in her eyes. And I'm like, I've done it. Did it with one of my guests in Toronto. I never had that problem, but maybe Becky LeBeau.
she might. She
Yeah.
might.
I'm going to be reaching out to get her on here eventually here soon. We talk about Bigfoot or bust. I have a feeling I know what the bust part is. Knowing
Oh,
Jim
you got that right.
Minorski.
You got that right.
Yeah.
That's why it's great. That's why it's perfect. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, wait till things calm down. I wouldn't want anybody putting themselves at risk over. The thing is with me here, we got the jump on the pandemic. Our numbers were very low. And I remember I had like a list of about 30 people waiting to come on my show when we went into shutdown. And I kept telling people, "Oh, I'll book you for April." We went into shutdown a year ago, March. And I'm like, jeepers, we're in April. I didn't think it was going to be that long.
Nobody did. I
Yeah.
love that. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. That was the original.
Yeah. And I'm like, I haven't seen anybody with it. And I was even COVID tested. I just did it, just took the test and I was fine. But I worked through the pandemic doing essential cleaning, and of course I work at nights. So that's
Oh,
why
you're your own. That's nice.
I like doing the back shift because I can plan my interviews during the day.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm a night person too. I totally get that. I really.
yep. Well, I'll put my headphones in and listen to podcasts and stuff. Or sometimes, people call me and I got my headphones in, I can work and I can talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I love working the back shift because it's nice and peaceful. I don't have, it's hard to clean around people.
Oh, it must be horrible. You
Yep.
want to bother them, and they probably get irritated, like they gotta move all their stuff, and
Yep.
yeah.
So
I
I can
just feel
go,
that as being a mom. I'd much rather have everybody gone, and I'll just zip through the house.
yeah. But yeah, that I work at nights and people say I can't sleep during the day, but I'm like, yeah, but well, everybody else is getting their morning coffee and trying to wake up. I'm cuddling up with my kitty.
And that makes it really easy to sleep in the day. That purr puts me right out.
Oh, jeepers, my cat will even get under the covers with me.
Oh, I love it.
He'll like curl right down by my waist, and I'm like, kitty, can you breathe down there? Doesn't
Oh
seem to be
yeah, they
doesn't seem
love
to be complaining. So, but
Skittles.
oh, jeepers, my cat will wake me up at the oddest time. I'll feel him thud on the bed, and he'll walk around because when I sleep, I have my blanket up around my head, but just enough so I can breathe. And he'll come around and he'll onto the pillow and gawk into my face. And I'm like, Skittles, your time and my time for getting up are totally different.
Well, they just kind of nap and get up whenever they feel like it too.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
that leisurely lifestyle. It's just, I'm envious. I feel like I in another life, or I have been a cat, because I relate to her hours really well.
Well, my cat's lazy except when I shake that treat bag and he's bust of energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, treat bag. He'll go for that. But I was going to ask one more back to school question. Did you go to the premiere when that came out?
I don't think I did.
No?
I don't think I did. I don't know if I was in town or what happened, because I know the first time I saw it was at a theater in Westwood,
Mm-hmm.
and packed theater. Like I said, I was in the back row. I know the moment I saw it because it's right there. It's etched in my memory. Um, so if I'd been to a premiere, believe me, I remember the wrap party. I remember the day shoot. I would remember the premiere. Maybe I wasn't invited because I was, kind of smaller part down the list. But
Yeah, but people remember your part down the list.
I know what people didn't know what people were going to remember back then. Or I might have been out of town. I was doing a lot in that time, and so I was, I have this vague memory of being so excited that I was in town to see it on a Friday night in Westwood at the theater. So that I'd have to go back and look in my journals. I keep journals since I was in second grade. So things like that, like I remember writing about, I saw my face on screen 40 feet wide and or whatever it is, 30 feet wide. And it was, and because up till then, I don't think I'd ever seen myself in a theater. I'd seen myself at private screenings of independent films I'd done. like Demon of Paradise. We barely hit on that. That was a Roger Corman film.
Ah, Roger Corman just turned what, 95?
Cool guy.
Oh,
Another cool guy. Boy, it's good to talk to you because I realized what great experiences I had and how much fun that all was. And it was a whoosh, couple years. I mean, I was doing commercials since 1980, and I did them on into the 90s. But there's a couple years there where I was doing that genre of films, and they were all really cool. It was, and they all had their place.
It's interesting, Roger Corman, because I was one of the last to interview Dick Miller, who was in pretty much all of his movies. You know, I was glad I got him when I did. Yeah, I think you're number 418 or 419 that I've interviewed.
Wow.
So I've done quite a few, and this is fun. I know 10 years ago, somebody told me that I was going to be going to conventions and talk to people from movies like Back to School. I'd be like, you nuts? Because I know when I was in high school, we still had typewriters. You know, we have phones that stuck to the wall. You know, so it's weird where technology has brought us. You know,
The
you
good, the
could just
bad, and the
imagine Thornton Mellon with today's technology.
oh my gosh, I know. I think of that. I think of people that are no longer here. Like, what would they think? Because things speeded up too. Like, there was so much that changed once we got our PCs and then our phones, the iPhones. Like, how many times have I referred to that just in this couple, just a couple times we've been hours or I don't know
Yep.
how then, but we've been talking, and it's like that's it.
Yep.
That's the Encyclopedia Britannica. That's the library. That's everything, all on your little iPhone.
Oh, I would listen to, like I said, put my earphones in, and like I said, I could listen to this while I'm at work. If I'm doing an 8-hour shift at work, somebody calls me, or I could listen to a couple podcasts while I'm working. Time just goes. And if you're
Yeah.
working at night, nobody's around, I'm like, perfect. You know, I'm not
Oh, that's
interrupted.
cool. I can totally relate to what you do. That's
Yep. So yeah, I was happy to have work, but boy, I feel blessed to have this back. I'm hoping to get to travel before the end of the year. I missed Toronto last year because I go to one of the horror film conventions there. One of my guests invited me back in 2017. It was the first time I left this little province.
wow. Well, I just left for the first time in over a year and a half. Well, I did do a drive trip in the summer
Mm-hmm.
to go to a wine tasting up in mid Central California in Paso Robles. But yeah, I just went on a ski trip in Colorado, and that
Mm-hmm.
was the first time I'd left. And
Did you have fun?
was great. It was
How was the wine?
the wine.
The wine tasting.
Oh, in Paso Robles last
Yeah.
summer. I thought you were talking about the ski trip.
Oh, I'm talking about both.
Oh, both were awesome. Just being able to get out and do normal things and vacation, and the wine tasting was really amazing because I'm not really much of a wine person. When I drink wine, it's the bubbly stuff. I like prosecco and cuvee. Cuvee, is that what it's called? And Sekt, which is German, and champagne. But wine I wasn't that big on. I got educated in Paso Robles because we had our own little person that talked to you about what you like and what you don't like about wine. And man, she was good. She brought wines. I ended up buying some wine, and now I drink wine. I can appreciate wine more. So that was an education.
When I was in Toronto last, my friend who invited me to the convention was one of my guests. We went to a restaurant and she had wine, and I was like, gee, what will I have to drink? And she goes, you like that movie, The Big Lebowski? How about a White Russian? And I looked at the waitress. I said, can you do that? She said, yeah. And The dude abides.
Yeah, I
Oh, it
just
was
read one
good.
the other day. I saw something with the Big Lebowski, and I went, "Damn it! I haven't had a White Russian in a long time." And I had one the other night. It was great.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, now talk about classic. Ooh, wow.
Oh yeah. But no, I'm so happy to have you on today. It must be a hoot when you and Lisa and Becky get together. I'm so
Yeah,
happy that Lisa London had connected all of us together.
she's a connector. She does.
Yep, I appreciated that so much. And she did that PSA on anti-bullying, and yeah. So, what's it like when the three of you get together? Are you three up to no good?
Yeah, we're up to good. I mean, I don't know. How are you up to no good these days? Just kind of Lisa and I were talking yesterday about how we miss dancing. I mean, it's one thing that we all miss seeing each other's smiles like out in the world, just that human quality of seeing each other smile and being able to read lips. Like sometimes you can't understand people behind the mask, but it would help if you could read their lips, but you can't. Um, and then of course you miss getting together for parties, but dancing dancing is so necessary. It's like music and rhythm and connection. It's sexy, and like you're both saying how we can't wait to go out dancing again, and that would be fun with Lisa and me and Becky. That would be a blast.
Now, is Christine DeBelle part of your little circle too?
She moved back east. I think she's back in Connecticut, New Hampshire, someplace like that.
Oh, I
Oh,
thought she was in California.
she was for a long time, years. She was back here. She had moved there and then she came back here, just like I moved to Sun Valley and I came back here. But I think she's recently transplanted herself back to the East Coast. So,
Oh,
but yes, and Chris is just she's when it, you couldn't meet a warmer. Have you interviewed her? Because she is just a sweetheart.
she was my 8th interview.
Oh
That was in 2015.
no, you
Yeah,
have.
she was in Meatballs. I always hated summer camp when I was young, but if I went to summer camp and they had her there, I would never have wanted to leave.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Um, no, I remember her in that. Yeah, I had her on, and she was fun, and I look forward to having Becky LeBeau so we could talk about bubbles.
Oh yeah. Plus, she's doing a lot of stuff now. She'll have a lot to tell you.
Well, she
Um,
told me I connected with her initially through her webpage, and she talked about when she was available, but I wasn't hearing back, and I tried to get hold of her again, and she said she just took on a big project and would have to circle around afterwards. And I was like, I'm totally understand with that. I'm fine.
you gotta do the Biden's press secretary circle back.
Yep.
Jen Psaki, circle back. Yeah, she does the circle back. It's become like a meme. It's kind of funny.
Well,
So,
it's interesting because I've had guests. It's taken me as long as 2 years to get on the show, and I always tell other podcasters do the 3 Ps: politeness, persistence, and patience.
well, you were
Yep.
polite with me. Didn't have to be too persistent, and there was definitely no need for patience because I was free. It's a
Yep.
pandemic, and I'm just home right now.
Well,
I'm in between jobs, so it was good.
well, I love the fact you get the towel on and stuff. You just got into the whole back to
I
school
just
thing.
decided let's have fun with this, and I realized there's some parts of this interview where it's kind of lower, and I'm going like this, and it's like, oh, if somebody tuned in the middle, they'd be like, oh, he has that girl from the shower on. She's still naked.
I'm wondering if Becky LeBeau will get in a hot tub with hers.
Never know. I don't know why she wouldn't. She's pretty game and fun.
Well, that's what Rodney said. What's a bath without bubbles?
Oh, I still got a little bit. I should finish it.
That's right. And of course, Rodney, I don't know whether he passed marine biology or not, though.
I don't think it. Oh, you mean in the movie?
Yeah, remember when
Triple
Sally
Lindy.
Kellerman come in there and they pulled, he goes, "Where's you have you guys seen Thornton Mellon?" They pulled him up out of the water. It goes, "That's what I call marine biology." Says, "Oh, say hello to my nieces." I'm sure.
He could do a triple Lindy. Who cares?
Oh, I love that.
I know.
That's another thing I got to say about this movie too. So many movies like this could be so predictable, and they'll say they'll just something's coming. One of the things I like about of course, this movie is 35 years old. If people haven't seen it by now, spoiler alert, but
I know.
I love the
Kind of true.
fact that the triple lending. When I first saw this, I didn't actually see that coming. I like the
I didn't
fact,
either.
yeah,
I
I like
know.
I like the fact that the coach says, there's this guy that did this outrageous dive, the triple lending. You know that guy? And he goes, I do. That was me. And he goes, oh, can your son do that? And he says, nobody can do that. It's too dangerous. But I like how they kept it brief. You know how many movies would just weigh on that and weigh on that? And when it comes, it's not fun. I
Right.
like the fact that when the triple lending does come, it comes naturally where he put in a position where you know what I'm going to go do the triple lending, but I can't think of any movies off the top of my head, but there'd be an ending that we're supposed to be shocked by, but they're not shocked because they addressed it too many times. I like it how it was just that brief moment, can your son do that? No, too dangerous. Nobody can do it. Too dangerous. And then they went on to carried the conversation about, your son tried out for the diving thing, uh, didn't do too well, and they, he got the son to do the dive, and it was just for the brief moment they mentioned it, and then it comes back around at the end, and it was a great climatic moment.
It was. It
Yeah,
was, and you didn't expect it.
I liked it.
That.
I
Yeah.
really did. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, 35. You've got a lot of movies celebrating 35 years. I got to see Hamburger the movie. Something tells me
I don't
I'd
know how
enjoy
you
that.
find that one, boy, but you seem to have your avenues. So
Yeah,
good
but
luck
I'm
with
really glad I got this. I love this movie. A lot
that.
of fun, and I'm looking forward to having Becky on when she's free and available. But so happy to have you come on here today and
Oh, so much fun to be on. Thank you. Yeah.
reminisce about showers and Rodney and being perfect.
It was a great way to go forward. And love that that's my tagline.
Well, you know what, too, though? I like the fact that because there's some actresses out there, they would look back and they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that because, uh, they're ashamed years later because they did a nude scene. I love the fact that you love the scene, you love that you've done it, and you had a great experience. There's nothing about that you regret. I like that. You've got that very free-spirited personality. I'm so glad to have you on here today.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, I have to give credit where credit is due because I I was raised that way, and that
Hmm.
is really who I am. But I did take myself a little seriously when I first started acting,
Hmm.
and I wanted to emote, and I wanted to cry, and I wanted to win an Academy Award for all of that. That's just where I was at 20 whatever.
Hmm.
And I kept getting cast. This was before a lot of people had boob jobs, and so I was a naturally thin girl with, at that time, really big boobs. Now I've had two boys and I've gotten older, and they're not quite, they're more body appropriate for me. um but they're still, I'm happy with them, but they were, you know pretty big back then, and so I was noticed for my boobs. So I got cast thusly, and I was having a bit of an attitude about it, like I'm an actress. I do the work. I'm taking these classes, and now the commercial I got with Dennis Weaver and Barbara Stanwyck, I played an old timey woman getting off of a locomotive. Well, it was some sort of a train going out west, and I got to wear a period costume, and that was really cool. And I thought, well, I should be getting more stuff like that. And I'm getting cast in these like goofy teenage movies where I'm supposed to run on the beach and be naked or jump out of a cake or be on a piano or whatever it is. And I thought, and one of my closest friends happened to be married to Michael Landon, and Michael had said, I'll give you a break. I'll give you we'll see if you still have to audition. I actually ended up playing a secretary in this show called Us that he was doing right when he was getting sick, and he ended up passing away. But long before that, he had said to me, so you don't respect those actors that do those parts? You have a problem with nudity? And I'm like, no, I don't have a personal problem with it, but it's how I'm going to be perceived. I don't want. And he goes, have you done much work? And at that point I was like, well, no. He goes, you want to get your foot in the door? You want to work? And I said, yeah. He goes, go with what you're getting. Are these terrible movies? And I'm like, no, actually they're kind of fun movies. He goes, my advice is go with your strength. If you don't have a personal issue with it and you're just doing it, I was just resisting for what I thought I was supposed to do, or how I was supposed to be accepted as a serious actress, blah, blah, blah. So when he said that, wow, I was like, it really stuck with me. And then I started doing all these topless parts. And he laughed as he said, you're working, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, you enjoy yourself? I said, yeah. So I have to mention that is really who I am. But it took talking to somebody that really had his shit together, and really, Pa Ingalls, certainly not the guy you're going to expect. It came from a really good place. It came from let's just get real. You do what, he was a teenage werewolf, for crying out loud, in some of his early stuff. He's like, you get your foot in the door, you get in the business, and then, you see what you can get done. So thank you. I'm glad you feel that way. I feel very proud of that too, that I got my head on right and got to enjoy a career back then. So.
Well, you get to work with Rodney.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So
yeah.
Here's to Rodney, and
here's to Rodney.
And
35 years of back to school, and to my lovely, beautiful guest, Leslie Scarborough. I'm so happy to have you on here. And a special thanks to Lisa London for connecting us.
To Lisa, to Becky, and to all of the rest of
To Becky, yes. And if I ever advance my, right now I got my Zoom on just standard.
Okay.
One where I can do one-on-one unlimited, but if I ever advance it so I get more than one person on, because I think there's a cost to that. But if I ever advanced
it together and they were sitting next to each other, you could do that.
Yeah.
But as far as you mean having like several people on the page, yeah, I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Well, I've had people ask me about that, and I just haven't done it because, I try to keep my bills and stuff. I just paid my phone bill today, so it's like, I try to keep things paid up, and, but
your budget, always a good idea.
But I'd be welcome, even if I could get all three of you in the same spot. I'd welcome that.
Oh, I think we would all welcome it too. That'd be a blast.
Well, we'll sometime down the road we'll have to do that, and then we could share secrets about each other. Yeah. Anyway, you know what? It was an honor having you on here today. And is there anything else you want to plug or promote? Any web pages or anything before we close off?
Oh no, I'm me. I'm Leslie Scarborough now, so anyone wants to look me up and just see what I'm up to, they can always just find me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm at less directly on Instagram. And then I'm just Leslie Scarborough on Facebook. And yeah, I mean, I have a couple things running. They're just like I said, I'm doing a lot of supplements, vitamin supplements, and helpful exercising, yoga stuff for, like I said, fit over 50, and I'm really enjoying that because I feel like it helps people.
Well, I think that's fantastic. And yeah, I look forward to checking out your new projects. And you know what? Eventually, sometime down the future, I'll have to get all three of you on here at once.
I love that idea.
Yep. But I'm connected with you on Facebook, so I'll let you know when this comes out. And yeah,
All
I
right. Well,
look forward to staying connected.
I have to tell you, I've only done a Q&A before, like after a screening. I haven't done one of these Zoom interviews. You're my first, and I didn't know how it's going to go. It's really fun. Thank you. You're a great interviewer. It's really
Oh,
fun.
I appreciate hearing that. Well, I've had lots of practice. My
Apparently,
first my
oh
first
yeah, I
interview
can tell.
my first interview was with Tommy Wiseau of all people from The Room.
Wow.
So I started
Awesome.
there, and yeah, and
Can't even imagine. Oh
yeah.
my God, what must he be like?
Oh, he was everything you can imagine. But no, I've had a blast doing this and just exploring these
Good for you.
movies I
I'm
grew
glad
up
you're
with.
doing it, and you should keep it up. I can tell how much you enjoy it.
Well,
And
I
that,
was happy to connect with that Lisa London connected me with the woman in the shower from Back to School. I remember that scene well, and Rodney was so funny in his double take on that. So
oh yeah.
yeah, but I agree, you're perfect.
Oh, so are you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Leslie, it was wonderful interviewing you today and celebrating 35 years of Back to School and Hamburger the movie and which the cage, Naked Cage, and so many other projects you did in 1986. That was your year.
Definitely was.
Yep. And when you see Lisa London, you tell her that I said thank you very much for allowing me to connect with a lovely personality like yourself. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, I will be sure to tell her that. For sure,
Yes.
seriously. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
pat your kitty
I'm
for
gonna
me.
thank her too. I mean, I already thanked her yesterday because I was
Yeah,
excited. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, you have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will stay connected with you and see
Great.
what else comes up, and I'd gladly have you back in the future.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right.
Absolutely. God
Well,
bless you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.
all righty. You too. Evening.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.